Good morning, viewers. I am Arunima coming live to you from Vijay Chowk, right outside the Parliament, where the monsoon sessions, day 2 of the session, is to get underway in just about a few minutes from now. Both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are to assemble at 11 o'clock. Yesterday, both the houses saw any transaction of business. It was a rocky start to the session, stormy start, so to say, at least in the upper house, where the outgoing chairperson, the outgoing vice president, Venkaiah Naidu, took offense to the fact that right from the word go, opposition was being so aggressive in pushing through its agenda. In the lower house, because presidential elections voting were underway, even the lower house saw adjournment. Today, once again, the opposition is in a belligerent mood. Issues of the Agnipath scheme, issues about inflation, that is something that the Congress wants to raise, rising inflation. There is a possibility that Congress's MP Gandhi could also join the planned protest that Congress party has. And that all-important issue about which the entire country is talking about right now, the issue of how girl students were treated at a centre in Kerala for her NEET exams. We have heard the NTA, the body which conducts the examination, come up with a clarification, but members of parliament want the education minister, wants the government to clarify on the floor of the house, so that issue could also come up. What else is expected? Let me bring in Pallavi Ghosh, tracks the parliament proceedings very closely. Pallavi, thanks for taking time out this morning. Yesterday, hardly any transaction. Is that what you expect today as well?
Well, if you go by the mood coming in from the opposition, certainly it could be a repeat of what happened yesterday. Multiple notices once again have been given. There are those pending notices on the Agnipath issue, on price rise. Today, some more notices on the GST rates which were applied yesterday on some commodities like dahi, paneer and so on and so forth. And of course, those protests which we saw in the premises of Parliament outside the Mahatma Gandhi statue by a joint opposition. So certainly they are going to be in a belligerent mood both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Even as Arunima, the government has already begun listing bills. 32 bills is something which the government is talking about. And, you know, if you go by their track record and precedents, they try and ensure that the bills are passed in both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha so as to improve their report card, that even as the opposition is becoming a roadblock, we are the ones who are going ahead and ensuring that the parliament conducts its legislative business.
In terms of important bills that the government proposes, Pallavi, can you list a few? And they must be feeling upbeat about the fate of these bills, especially since parties like AIADMK, YSR Congress, the Shiv Sena faction as well, JMM, they've all shown their support to NDA as far as the presidential nominee goes, maybe even for the vice presidential candidate. Does that give them more confidence that this could translate into support for the bills as well?
Yeah, I mean, precedence also shows that, you know, Arunima, like in Rajya Sabha, the government doesn't have those kind of numbers. The BJP certainly doesn't have, and I think the opposition is even more belligerent and aggressive over there. But if you look at important bills like a triple talaq bill, somehow the government managed to get those bills passed. That's because of those backroom negotiations, because that's exactly what flow management is all about. You know, whether they're winning over BJD, YSR, TRS, you know, there are political compulsions of these regional parties where they're often seen siding with the government either by way of abstention or by openly supporting a bill, the AIADMK. And yes, you're right. I mean, the presidential and the vice presidential support coming in from those in the so-called opposition spectrum gives hope to the government that it is not going to be difficult in Rajya Sabha to get their way through as far as the legislation is concerned. When you talk about the bills, we have those list of 32 bills. But I think one important point which also needs to be mentioned is a bill which is not listed yet, and that is the cryptocurrency bill. There was a statement which came in from the finance minister herself, who says that their international concerns will also have to be addressed for any cryptocurrency bill to be put forward on the floor of the House. The RBI certainly is in favor of a ban on cryptocurrency, but the government also has to take in multiple factors, both Indian as well as international, before they actually formulate. So the missing of the cryptocurrency bill is also very, very interesting. But apart from that, the usual number of 32 bills are already there.
Pallavi Ghosh, thank you so much for getting us that update. We are expecting the houses to assemble any moment now. But before we go to the proceedings from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, okay, the houses have begun. Both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha proceedings have begun. We will see how things go, especially in the upper house, since, like Pallavi was reporting yesterday, the opposition was in a belligerent mood. They wanted to raise issues like price rise, Agnipath scheme. They also want to raise the issue of the latest GST regime that has kicked in. We will cut live to the houses in just a bit, but Shahzad Poonawalla and Rashid Kidwai, our guests for the morning also here. Shahzad Poonawalla, to you first. When the Agnipath scheme protests began throughout the country, the armed forces countered by saying that look at the number of applications that we are claiming. Shahzad, just hold on. Lok Sabha proceedings have begun. I'm just dipping into it and then coming back to you.
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, जैसा कि माननीय सदस्य ने कहा है कि फसल बीमा और जो ऐसे फार्मर जो टेनेंट फार्मर हैं उनके लिए सरकार की ओर से विशेष ये योजना है कि उसके अंदर भी उसको फसल बीमा योजना के अंदर उनको इंक्लूड किया गया है। और प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी का जब से सरकार बनी है तब से ये विजन है कि हमारे किसानों को उनको उनकी फसल का अच्छी सीड भी मिले और उन किसानों को फर्टिलाइजर भी मिले, उसके लिए उनको चाहे इंश्योरेंस हो तो इंश्योरेंस भी मिले और उन किसानों को लोन भी मिले। इस दृष्टि से चाहे वो टेनेंटेड किसान हो या वो अन्य किसान हो, सभी किसानों के लिए इस योजना के अंदर जोड़ा गया। और विशेषकर जो फसल बीमा की बात की गई है तो इसके अंदर जो ऐसे किसान हैं जो जमीन को जुताई के ऊपर लेते हैं, उन किसानों के लिए जो टेनेंट फार्मर हैं उनके लिए फसल बीमा योजना के अंदर ज्वाइंट लाइबिलिटी ग्रुप के अंदर अगर आते हैं तो उन किसानों को भी फसल बीमा का लाभ मिलता है।
My second supplementary.
Okay.
Sir, in the year 2016, the Niti Aayog came up with an expert committee report on a model agricultural land leasing law. They are also suggesting various reforms with respect to legalization of land leasing, recording of the same, regulations on rent. Among others, what measures has the government for implementation of these suggestions?
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, जैसा कि 2016 के अंदर भारत सरकार ने एक मॉडल एक्ट लाया था और इस मॉडल एक्ट के अंदर जो टेनेंसी एक्ट था उस एक्ट को सभी राज्यों के अंदर सर्कुलेट किया और राज्यों ने निश्चित रूप से उन सर्कुलेट को किए हुए उनको कुछ राज्यों ने अडॉप्ट भी किया है और कुछ क्योंकि ये भूमि और जो संबंध है और कृषि का जो है वो राज्य का विषय होता है और इसके लिए उनको कैसे सपोर्ट देना है, उनको किसानों को सुरक्षा मिले और इसके साथ ही उनके पट्टों को वैध कैसे माना जाए, इस दृष्टि से जो मॉडल एक्ट प्रस्तुत किया है उसके अंदर कुछ राज्य जैसे आंध्र प्रदेश है उन्होंने अपना एक्ट बनाया है, राजस्थान ने भी अपना एक्ट बनाया है कृषि के लिए और ऐसे ही उत्तर प्रदेश ने भी अपना एक्ट बनाया है। तो इस नाते मुझे लगता है कि किसानों को संरक्षण देने के लिए और ऐसे जो किसान हैं जिनके साथ अन्याय होता है उन किसानों को न्याय मिले, इसके लिए ये एक्ट है वो इसका एक बनाकर और मॉडल एक्ट के रूप में राज्य सरकारों को